let me tell you something, uneducated fools.
At this point in time, guys, are you guys surprised that Mitt Romney, Lisa Murkowsky, and Susan Collins are all deciding to vote for Ketanji Brown Jackson? Are you guys surprised? I mean, they are part of the Uniparty. I mean, this right here is the problem with RINOs. I've spoken of this on multiple occasions. Some RINOs come in the form of wanting wars. Dan Crenshaw. Some RINOs come in the form of wanting to take your guns away and give you red flag laws. Oh, wait, that's Dan Crenshaw again. And the list goes on and on and on. So really what I want to talk about is that I want to kind of give you guys an idea of who these people really and truly are. Okay, Murkowsky, she's up for re-election this year in 2022, and I personally believe she'll be primaried out. Of course, she'll probably attempt to run as an independent, which, by the way, she only got her office. She only got into office because she was a write-in to begin with. Romney, on the other hand, is a special case that I will save for last, but Susan Collins is pretty obvious. She's always been a bit of a liberal Republican, so it doesn't surprise me that she chooses the Uniparty over her own constituency. But then again, the Maine's not really truly that conservative place. It's really more libertarian than people tend to realize. But Mitt Romney is a special case. It's funny to me how a guy who's got 5 kids literally has no balls. Yeah, this guy literally has no balls. I caught this yesterday. It was just too glaringly obvious, so I had to point it out. But Mitt Romney has always been this way. Back in 1994, Mitt Romney was running for the Senate against Ted Kennedy in the state of Massachusetts. So because Massachusetts, which by the way is a little bit more, is obviously very, very liberal, and which by the way has elected Republicans before, look at Charlie Baker, he obviously chose to take the stance of being pro Roe v. Wade. Of course, later on, he would run for president. Of course, in 2008, he flip-flopped on his positions again. There was also times, of course, when he was governor of Massachusetts where he railed against coal. He railed against anything that conservatives and conservative working classes for. And then he turned right back around in 2012 and tried to brand himself as a conservative. When in reality, the only reason why people even voted for him was to try to get rid of Barack Obama. And he was a very, very, how do I say, not exciting candidate. That is what Mitt Romney was. It was almost like his face was made of glass and his body as a whole was made of wax. He really and truly was a terrible, god-awful presidential candidate. And then, of course, in 2016, he was overtly anti-Trump. Now, I understand why people may have been anti-Trump. I mean, even myself, when Trump was running for president in 2015, I was somewhat standoffish on him. I ultimately decided to choose to become a Trump voter, obviously, when he got the nomination, and I realized that there was no other option to keep Hillary Clinton out. I mean, voting for Gary Johnson would have only ensured that Hillary would have gotten elected. And quite frankly, I'm not going to vote third party if the situation in the country is that important, so I figured, why not go with the devil I don't know this time? Of course, later on, I eventually accepted Donald Trump as president and thought he did a very, very good job. Mitt Romney decided to run in place of Orrin Hatch. Okay, Orrin Hatch was retiring in 2018, and Mitt Romney obviously being... well, I'm not going to say it out loud, but he knew that in that state of Utah, he could get elected pretty easily. Since Mitt Romney has been in the Senate, the only thing he has done is stab conservatives in the back. He has done it in every situation. He has gone out of his way to stab Republicans, stab conservative voters in the back every time. I mean, at every opportunity, this is what he does. This is who Mitt Romney is. He is bought and paid for. Now, guys, somebody in the comment section is going to bring up his son's potential dealings in Ukraine. Well, the mainstream media quickly shut that down, and of course Romney himself kind of sort of shut that down because he did not want Ron Johnson to dive into this right here once again. Obviously, this right here looks suspicious. Now, I'm not going to speak too much and throw around false accusations, so instead what I'm just going to say to you is this right here. Even though the media says that you, Romney, don't have a son who has business holdings in Ukraine, even though Snopes called it mostly false, which I found very, very weird because it should just be false or not false. Kind of very, very weird. By the way, Snopes, I highly advise you guys to go do some research into Snopes. You'll find out that Snopes' fact-checking is not exactly actually fact-checking. I highly advise you guys do some actual honest-to-God research in that. As a matter of fact, I'll leave a link in the description box for you guys. But the mere fact that they say no tells me, yeah, I don't really and truly believe you. I'll just leave it at that right there. But this right here is who Mitt Romney is. Mitt Romney showed up just for one term to try to stymie an agenda. By the way, a good portion of the GOP went out of their way to stymie Trump when he was in office. And, of course, Mitt Romney is sticking it to conservatives even while Trump is out of office by putting people like Ketanji Brown Jackson, someone who we recently just found out also went lenient, went very, very light on a child torture case. Now, guys, in my previous video, which, by the way, I will leave in the comments, I talked about Ketanji Brown Jackson's past, and I talked a little bit about the actual Senate confirmation hearings and why it was that conservatives were not willing to actually, how do I say, put her in on the court. I mean, the thing is this right here. You can't be putting just random people on the court. You got to put actual strong constitutionalists on the court, actual originalists, and her past seems to suggest that she's not. Also, not to mention the fact she's light on pedophiles, and she's also extremely light on child torturers. Child molesters, I think, would be the better term. She's very, very light on child molesters. Now, guys, really, really quick, outside the bought and paid for politicians, I got to make this point right here before the video ends. You see, I want to talk a little bit about the red pilling process just for a second, so bear with me here, okay? Typically, when people on the left, when they have this red pilling moment, and they sort of say, you know what, I'm tired, I don't want nothing to do with this, where they typically tend to begin to start doing research, and they typically tend to start getting a little bit smarter as time goes on. You see, when liberals or moderate lefties decide to become a little bit more conservative, and they decide to maybe, I don't know, leave the Democratic Party, case in point, great examples would be Ronald Reagan, Charlton Heston. Of course, they were all Democrats at one point in time. They left and went to the Republican Party. They went and became much, much more conservative. Also, something else too, Dana Lash. Of course, I'm a little up in the air how I feel about her right now. But she also did the exact same path. Several people who were on the left at one point in time, they eventually went right. They became more conservative over time. Those people actually got smarter. Their brains actually got a little bit bigger, and of course, their brains were actually much, much more knowledgeable. They absorbed like a sponge, and they got smarter as a result. And therefore, it tends to be that they actually, like I said, they just simply got very, very smart. They got much more smarter. However, when Republicans or conservatives decide to become liberals, it just kind of devolves their brain. I know that I'm speaking a little bit more with punch and maybe not as intelligible, but it's not hard to decipher that when a conservative goes left, it's because they normally lose their common sense, and they normally do it out of emotional reactions themselves, or maybe they do it out of guilt. Case in point example, Ana Navarro and her claiming that Republicans will go down in history as stymieing the first black woman justice on the Supreme Court. Let's watch.
Of voting for the first black woman. Yeah. And they're going to go down in history as having been against the first black woman justice, which is a big moment for this country. Whomever likes it, fine. Whomever dis...
You see what I mean, guys? You see, Anna completely lost her brain, or either A, Anna's a completely dishonest actor, because the GOP has not, they didn't stymie the nomination of a black Supreme Court justice, a black woman Supreme Court justice. That would actually be the Democrats. That would actually be your boy Joe Biden. That right there would be when he actually went out of his way to filibuster Janice Brown Rogers. Yes, a woman that George W. Bush was nominating to the appeals court. Joe Biden went out of his way to filibuster that nomination. He went out of his way to actually filibuster her. Also, something else too, a lot of times Supreme Court justices, they get taken from the Court of Appeals. So not only did Joe Biden stymie her because I guess she was a black justice, which there's a real reason why I think he did it, because at that time he still had to keep a certain portion of his voter base in. I mean, all you got to do is just go back and look at Joe Biden's past comments. He's basically, you know, he basically does whatever his handlers tell him what to do. I mean, it's been his entire career. So not only did he stymie her from getting to the appeals court, he also stymied her from ever having the possibility of actually getting on the Supreme Court herself. I wonder exactly how that right there would have worked. And I wonder how good that there would have been. I mean, Joe Biden, of course, you know, this was not the first time. I mean, Clarence Thomas, went out of his way to stymie him. Now, guys, before this video gets too long, I'm going to go ahead and cut this video off. So, guys, make sure you guys hit that like button. Make sure you guys subscribe. Make sure you guys share the video. Sign off in the comment section. I want to get you guys' thoughts. Also, another thing, too, guys, you can follow me on Facebook. I decided not to pursue Truth Social, so when you see Truth Social in the actual description box, I decided not to pursue that. I'll explain that during the next video. So make sure you guys look for me on Facebook. Don't worry, it's a working process. I will eventually begin to make that page. But it's just kind of like a bland page for videos. But don't worry, we're going to work on that thing and make it a little bit better. So once again, guys, hit that like button, subscribe, share the video, sign off in the comment section. I'll see you guys later.
Oh, thank God.
Sorry about that. Just be a second. That's a clean burning hell, I tell you what.